Well, plot twist, it's looking very likely that Chinese-made electric vehicles, well, they're going to be cut from that £650 million government grant that was announced over the last couple of days. And China, well, they're not too happy about it, as you might expect. They're calling it discriminatory and they're looking for fairer treatment. Pot kettle black. Anyway, I have spoken about this a fair bit over the last couple of days, so this is just going to be a quick video. We'll take a look at the article and then normal service will resume. I mean, look at the state of me. I'm working on my little Porsche Boxster today. That's what this video was going to be, but that's now going to be the next one, obviously. This is quite a big update, so I thought I'd bring you a quick video on it. Anyway, hello, thank you so much for joining. Where are my manners? Let's get into the article. So Beijing issues electric car warning to Labour. Chinese vehicles look likely to be rejected from a new EV grant scheme. Beijing has warned Labour that it will resolutely safeguard its electric vehicle industry after it's emerged that the government will block Chinese cars from a new grant scheme. A spokesman for the Chinese embassy called on the UK to follow the World Trade Organization (WTO) rules and create a non-discriminatory environment for investment. WTO rules stipulate that members must not give favourable treatment to one country over another when it comes to trading goods and services. Department for Transport (DFT) officials intend to reject Chinese applications for the £650 million electric car grant scheme, which will reduce the purchase price of new electric vehicles by as much as £3,750. As we spoke about in the last video, that's got a ceiling on it of £37,000. Cars are going to be tiered, either tier 1 up to that £3,750 or tier 2, dependent on their environmental credentials, which will be capped at £1,500. I do wonder if we are going to see another U-turn on this. Maybe they will just stick them into group 2. I'm going to snip that little bit of footage and add it into a future video if that turns out to be the case. The scheme will reject applications from nations with poor sustainability records or high carbon emissions. Well, they're getting China there because 2/3 of China is still powered by coal. China's electric car manufacturing and battery production industries are relying on fossil fuels, barring them from the discounts. Lillian Greenwood, the Transport Minister, told BBC Today's programme on Wednesday, "We don't expect any cars that are assembled in China to be eligible for this scheme." The grant is restricted to those manufacturers that reach minimum environmental standards, and frankly, if you generate a lot of electricity that powers your factory through coal power stations, then you're not going to be able to access this grant. However, the restrictions have prompted a backlash from Chinese officials at a time when manufacturers are battling intense competition in the country whilst trying to gain a foothold in the West. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? That last point, it absolutely is the case. Chinese manufacturers have gone absolutely cutthroat at the expense of the economy to try and sell cars into their saturated market. I mean, you look at the USA, they've got big tariffs on EVs. You look at other places around the world, there's tariffs or there's conditions that they need to abide by. Up until now, they've had a free rein in the UK, but it looks like that's about to end. I mean, yes, they claim it's because of China's environmental credentials, but you look at any electric vehicle, and I don't think from a manufacturing standpoint you can call it environmentally friendly. I mean, over and above a petrol or diesel car, they've got that honking great lithium battery, and there's just no way around that. That needs to be made, and the materials from it need to be mined. It takes about £90,000 of rock being mined to get the materials that they need. To access that £90,000 of rock, they need to move approximately £500,000 of earth. So calling it environmentally friendly, I mean, it just doesn't really work, does it? I think what the government are going to do here is they're going to focus on how energy is produced, because as I said in a previous video, measuring the actual CO2 or emission output of manufacturing an EV is almost impossible. The labyrinth of supply chains, where parts are made, the mining, the diesel machinery that's used for gathering the material that's needed, the big diesel crushers that are used for crushing it down and getting the minerals and materials out that they need. It's impossible. I think they're just going to simplify it and say, well, we'll just look at what the energy generation is like. I think that's what they're going to do here. And it just so happens that China, well, they're a bit more blasé about their energy production being coal. The idea that someone would go out and buy a brand new EV and give up a perfectly good running little petrol car just so they can feel warm and fuzzy about their environmental impact is absolute insanity. The whole idea where electric vehicles began, albeit a bit of a knee-jerk reaction by the government to put all the eggs in the EV basket, was to bring down emissions, was to bring down CO2, and the response to it now is to buy cars which are even more pollutant in their manufacturing cycle than the ones that we already have. By far the best thing that you could possibly do is just run that old car of yours for as long as it will possibly go. I can see another scrappage scheme incoming though, sadly. Can you imagine that? Scrap your petrol or diesel today and we'll give you £10,000 off of a new electric vehicle. How will that go? And what do we think of China? Coming back and warning that this needs to be rethought and this is unfair, discriminatory treatment. Well, I mean, this is the same crowd that are attempting to sue influencers who dare say anything negative about them. They're buying good press, they're fiddling numbers. They are selling zero mileage used cars to any country that will allow it. I'm not so sure that they're in the position to be given the warnings that they are. Now, thank you so much for joining. Normal service will resume next video. Hit subscribe, hit like if you've enjoyed this. I'll see you for the next one.